Hello and welcome to PlayStation Racer. My name is Mitchell Morgan and today I'm back with a grinding video. It's not one of the world circuits because today Gran Turismo 1.35 was released and one of the cars in there is the Aston Martin Valkyrie, a car that I've been waiting for quite a while. Well, since I learned that it was going to be included in the game, and I just had to go and buy it and then just wanted to try it on my grinding track just to see what it would do. So I've just bought the car, gone through the configuration just to bring the PP to below the 800, and then we'll dive into the World Touring Car 800 at Sardegna. This is a road track A. 15 laps, which normally takes me around about 25, 26, 27 minutes, something like that. But let's see what we can do in this Aston Martin Valkyrie. Now, this is the very, very, very first time that I have run this car, and I've got 9 miles on it just to try and get some feel on one of the other tracks, but this is the first time on here. So I'm going to make a few mistakes and I will get quicker and quicker and quicker, but this is just an amazing car. It looks gorgeous both inside and outside. So if you put it on the cockpit view, it's beautiful. I imagine if you've got a virtual reality headset, which unfortunately I don't have, I've got the original but not the version 2 yet, I would imagine that it is absolutely glorious sitting in the cockpit driving this particular car. Now I'm on full lean at the moment. I don't even really need to go full lean because ideally I would just want maybe 8 laps of fuel, but we've got 9.2 there, and this is just, it's amazing. I just love it. I am lost for words. This is becoming my new grinding car without a shadow of a doubt. I could have leaned this off a little bit, but I've just left it at 6. And at this point, I was enjoying the car so much, I'd even forgotten the overtake button. Can you see there is a little overtake icon in the bottom right-hand side of the screen? Well, you can keep pushing that button almost as long as you like throughout this race. It recharges. I was pushing it towards the end of this race almost constantly down the straights and to get by cars, and I never once ran out of it. In fact, the car is so quick, I even caught the back of one of those cars during the overtake. You just saw the bits flying off it, and the front bumper is now showing damage, and that is just because at the moment, with only 12 miles run on this car, I am still getting used to the length of the bonnet and the dynamics of the car. And yeah, I mean, I still love my BMW VGT, don't get me wrong. I'll probably still go back to that from time to time when I'm grinding, but for now, I think for this particular race, I think my new grinding car is this Aston Martin Valkyrie. It is amazing. Look, even with the Audi R8, it makes short work of it. I'm pushing the overtake button now and it just flies past it. No worries whatsoever. So where are we? We're on lap 2 and we are already up into 7th position. Already. And I've got a little bit deep there, but we're going to be lined up. Do we use the overtake button? Yep. Hit the overtake button, fly past the Supra. I actually need to get out of it for the Aston Martin, otherwise we were going to collect. I know I'm quicker through there. Use my usual third gear trick through there just to get a load of speed. And look how we're catching up with those cars in front. It's a monster. It's absolutely fabulous. And as we go through this race, I try to push it quicker and quicker and quicker, and I do start to make a few mistakes, especially as the tyres start to go off. I mean, I'm only on racing medium tyres at the moment. I could go softs and be even quicker, but look how we're catching these two cars down the start-finish straight, and we come across the line for a 1:43.8, which is pretty good. I'm quite pleased with that. But this is a really beautifully planted car. It's turning in really, really nicely. Like I said, you've got that overtake button to use. I mean, you can see that the overtake button is already charged. It's practically at full, even though I was using it in the last lap. And even now I'm not using it enough. I should be punching the overtake button now. to get onto the back of the car in front. In fact, once or twice, as you'll see during this video, the overtake button actually catches me out where I am going significantly faster and still using my normal braking line, a braking point, where I didn't actually consider the additional speed that the overtake button was giving me. So we've made mincemeat of the AMG there, flew past him really quickly. Once we come around here to go up the hill, again I could be punching the overtake button because yet again the overtake charge is still sitting at green. It's charged itself up completely. I am just blown away by this car. How it feels, how it turns in, it's just gorgeous. So I'm really pleased with this car. It is 4 million credits. It's not a cheap car. I didn't think it was going to be cheap, and I'd saved up 3.5 million, hoping that it would be 3 million and I might have to do a few little mods to it. But I haven't had to do any mods to it. In fact, the only mod I needed to do for this was to add the ballast and the power restrictor just to get the PP rating to 800 for this particular race. I will probably invest. I might actually buy 2 of these. I might buy one to keep as stock, this one, and then I might buy another one to just to add some upgrades to it. Although I am guessing that it's probably going to have racing brakes, it's going to have racing exhaust. There's an awful lot you probably will not even be able to do to this car. I haven't checked yet. So it's probably going to be as good as it gets, and really, going by this, it doesn't need to get any better. So we've got a 142 for the most previous lap, and we're still pushing on. No real mistakes at the moment, and I am on full lean at the moment, which is giving us another 7 laps. So on full lean, we're looking around about 11 laps. I'm not even really fuel saving. I could be upshifting earlier potentially in this particular car. I don't know whether it likes the full rev range or whether it's a bit like the VGT cars where it's okay changing up halfway. But as you can see there, I'm pretty much using the whole of the rev band. So could you actually get to do a no stopper in this car? Well, the tyres do get a little bit slippery in a short while. They are wearing a little bit fine at the moment, and I wouldn't really want to put the hard tyres on for this race. I want to go soft or mediums. Saying that, Portilla's just pitted with hard tyres. We've gone deep into that one just as I was trying to push and find a little bit more speed. So this isn't going to be a perfect race by any stretch of the imagination, because I am exploring the limits of this car. Well, probably not the limits of the car, but the limits of me driving this car. I think that if you are an A or an A plus driver, then you're going to be able to push this so much quicker, Is there a 139 lap in me in this? I don't know, we'll see in a moment. But bear in mind, we're just on lean. If we were to up that to power level 1, of course, we'll be getting a lot more speed, and I think we do actually try that after the pit stop towards the end of the race, because I do actually pit this car for a change of tyres. So we're in first place at the moment, and I don't think much of that has been done with pit stop overtakes by me not pitting and other people have been pitting, but the car behind is now sort of getting on for 16 seconds behind. So we're making really good headway in this particular race. Now this is on the easy settings, the easy race difficulty settings, which is the setting that I use for all of my grinding. I mean, why make your life more difficult by going normal or hard? Yes, it will give you a better race, but if you're grinding, the whole point of grinding is to get to the end of the race as quickly as possible. And the more time that we've got running in clean air as we are now, the faster we can go and the quicker we can get this race done, because it's not a half-hour race or anything like that. It is a straight 15 lap race. So the quicker that we can get it done, the quicker we can get onto another one. And that's what is all important with grinding, getting through them as quickly as you can. So we've got both Wire and Fraga are both pitting at the moment, both on very different tyres, one on hard, one on soft. So even though the other cars were on a mix of tyres, really we've still been able to just waltz around them without any trouble whatsoever. Coming up the hill, I'm still using the overtake button from time to time. I could be using it a lot more, because if you look at the overtake button gauge, it's now not even halfway down. Under braking, it's recharging, which gives us a little bit more charge. And I think you can pretty much punch that overtake button, not all the way around this track, but certainly during the longer straights and where you actually want to get up to speed quickly and when you want to overtake cars. So another little dab there. I'm just going to come around this corner to have a run down to the start finish, and again I've got loads and loads and loads of battery left. Loads of battery. You can see it's discharging there as I'm hitting the overtake button all the way through there. And we come across the line in a 140.5, so we haven't quite done the 139. I'm sure there is a 139 in there, but we're continuing to push, gone a little bit deep. Probably just a little bit unsighted and concerned about the Porsche there, but we've managed to clear the Porsche now without any trouble. The tyres are looking fine. These racing mediums on this car are absolutely fine. They're nice and grippy. They are getting the power down nice and quickly, and continuing to use most of the rev band. Well, we put it into the wall there, just thinking about how we're going to get around this alpha, so we did just have a clunk of the wall. You're going to see at the end that the car is less than pretty. There's one or two bumps and scrapes on it, but I'm sure that when I've run this race 2 or 3 times, I will get better and better and better and won't be hitting walls and cars and things like that. Should still be getting a clean race because there haven't been any yellow flags, so that will be all the better. It's going to be interesting to see on this first proper race. It's going to be very interesting to see what lap time I do, and then I'll have a look back after the video and just see how that compares to the BMW VGT. I'm probably only going to be talking less than a minute, maybe a minute, maybe a minute and a half. It's not going to be a huge amount, but those minutes all add up nonetheless. As we come across the line, what are we going to do on this one? It's a bit slower at 141.7, so I think I went a little bit deep into 1 or 2 of the corners, so just need to regulate my speed a little bit better, just searching for better turning points, better braking points. And obviously using the overtake button is going to be fairly key as well. But I don't want to be pushing the overtake button into areas where it's going to put me too quickly into a corner. I want to use the overtake button to get by people, as I'm doing there, to get up to speed as quick as possible, and just be very sort of, I would say, be careful where you use it. You don't really need to be careful where you use it, because, you know, right now we've almost got a full battery and we're still punching the overtake button. Tyres on the rear are looking a little bit second hand now, and I remember at this point the car was sliding around a bit. Yes, I am narrating this after the fact, but the tyres are going off just a little bit, so I start to think at halfway around lap 8 is now a good time to come in and pit for a new set of tyres. Or just couldn't quite get it up the inside of the Corvette there, so just caught the barrier ever so slightly. But again, the overtake button makes mincemeat of that Corvette, puts on the back of the Lexus really, really quickly. Can we get up the inside of the Lexus through here? A little bit of a squeeze, he opens the door, we go through. And we're 1 minute ahead of second place at this point in time. We go for another lap, closing really, really quickly on the Ferrari, using that overtake button yet again. That takes the battery down to around about half full, but you can see as soon as we're on the brakes you get the green little triangle and we are charging the battery straight away. Just coming through on these cars now. Just working our way through these really easily. Just caught the back of the Subaru ever so slightly there, slight nudge. Back on the power. Still on the lean setting for the moment. I could probably have gone power level 1 if we're pitting this lap. I think this was the lap that I decided to pit. We've got blue flags being waved at the moment. Both of those two cars led us through quite nicely, so not too much time lost there. Using the overtake button again to push up behind the car in front. It's Toyota Supra. Need a good exit out of here, which we got. Didn't actually need the overtake button at that particular moment. Up over the top of the hill. Bury the brake pedal just as you go over the top. Get it down into third. That's how I like to do that corner. And that's putting us on the back of Grady for this corner. Slowing it down. First gear just to get some rotation because we were catching up with Grady really quickly. It looks like I stuck on power level 6 throughout this first little stint. I could quite easily have been playing around with the power level and getting more speed out of the car. And then in we come, and we're going to get an opportunity to see this beautiful looking car. Crew are waiting for us at the moment. The car's going to look a little bit battered. Oh, it is very battered. What have I done to my £1 million, well, my £4 million beautiful Aston Martin? What are you doing, Mitchell? You could at least bring it home without any bumps and scrapes on it. So we've gone for another set of racing mediums. Battery's sitting at half charged at the moment. And hopefully it will start to charge again a little bit more as soon as we hit the brakes. There we go, green triangle displaying, so a little bit more juice back into the battery, harnessing the energy under braking. And it really does give you the opportunity to use the overtake button pretty much all the way through this race. It's not like you've got a canister of NOS that's going to run out after a few seconds or a few applications. Because we are harnessing the kinetic energy from the brakes, I'm assuming that's how it's harnessing the power. It's recharging the batteries all of the time under braking, which is enabling us to use the overtake button a lot more. In fact, as I said before, we're not using the overtake button nearly as much as we could. Ideally, you should pretty much be running the battery down, I think, and then just making sure that you are charging it under braking before you actually need it. So I think you could quite easily get the battery gauge down to maybe a quarter, because it's going to charge up pretty quickly. You just need to make sure that you keep a little bit of the battery just in case you come up behind a car that you want to get by very, very quickly. So our pit lap was a 2:11, you can't count that. Still haven't done the 1:39. Pushing on, we are 56 seconds ahead of Fraga in second place. And we know that he's pretty quick around here. So 1:43 for the last lap. Oh, we put it in the gravel, that's going to wreck this lap. That is not going to have done us any favours whatsoever. Dirty tyres as well, but they seem to clean up pretty quickly as we get into this corner. I'm still braking this roughly the same place, same sorts of gears. It's turning in. Turned in reasonably okay. We needed second gear to get that turned in. It went a little bit deeper than I had thought it would. So third gear through here. Let's see what this is like. Yeah, tyres are cleaned up really nicely now, so we're absolutely good. Let this run up the hill using the overtake button just to try and find that 1:39 lap. Pushing the overtake button pretty much all the way up there, and it's still above half the amount, and so it's still more than halfway charged. Now Fraga was on soft tyres, and we made mincemeat of him, so it just shows how much quicker this car is. We'll throw it up the inside of that one, get it slowed down for these two. Can I get up the outside of the AMG? Yes, we can. And it looks like we're going to be able to do the Nissan Nismo as well. Two very quick cars. And we've now got the Supra and the Aston Martin in front of us. So I imagine we'll probably use the overtake button after this corner, just as we know how things are going to settle down. So yep, push the overtake button, just pass those two without any worries whatsoever. Quite a few hard tyre cars there, so not surprising that we were quicker than them on these racing mediums. I've got the power level to 4 now, because we've only got a few laps to go. We're basically just under 4 laps, and we've got 7.5 laps of fuel remaining, so we could actually push that power level up even more. But because this is a new car, I mean, at this point I've only done 44 laps. This is effectively the first race I've done in this car. I did want to increase the fuel map slowly, just so that I can get to grips with the difference in performance. I don't want to be putting it into the barrier and overshooting corners all the time. So moving it from full lean, fuel map level 6 to fuel map level 4 worked quite nicely, and it's enabling me to get to grips with the car and just experience it. We can take that down even more if we want to. So just using the overtake button now, as well as the new fuel map level, so just feeling how the car is handling through some of the corners, and at this point it is handling absolutely beautifully. I cannot fault this car at all. I can only fault the driver, who is not extracting the best from this car. There is so much more performance in this car around this track to be found. I would say seconds can be found quite easily. There we go, we've got the 139, a 139.3. So can we better the 139.3? I'm pleased to have got that. That was a nice corner there. Obviously moving the fuel map to 4 will have helped. Really at this point I want to be moving the fuel map to maybe 2 or even 1, and see if we can get that fastest lap down into a 138, dare I say maybe a 137. That would be quite nice. I've also got to think about the tyres, that we don't throw the car around too much and burn out the tyres. So we've been running for 21, just coming up for 22 minutes, and we've got a little over 2 laps to do at around about just over a minute and a half, so about 3 minutes to run. That is pretty awesome, and bearing in mind I can get quicker and quicker and quicker in this car, there's still a lot more to be had out of this car as far as performance is concerned. I think I can possibly save myself some good time on my grinding. I dare say, could you do this race in 20 minutes? No, surely that would be a little bit hopeful. Could be interesting. I don't think I'm that slow, so I think I don't think it's that slow. I think we should be able to break the 25 minute quite easily. We're just following this car through here, just absolutely enjoying this now. Again, just trying to push it to find a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. The last lap was a 141.1, so we seem to have slowed off a little bit. Oh, got a bit of a slide and got into the wall there, so that would have cost me a good 2 or 3 tenths, I think. Oh, I just caught the barrier there as well. This is looking a little bit shabby, this particular lap. Using the overtake button as well. 150 metre board, getting it slowed down, second gear into this corner. I haven't spoken about the gears and turning points at the moment because I'm still feeling the car, and I know that these are not optimal turning points and braking points. Normally a brake just as you get to the end of that curb on the right hand side there, down into third gear, throw it through that corner, brake at the beginning of this curve, down into second gear, get it turned in, being careful not to clobber the inside of the wall, and then up through the gears as quickly as we can. And of course using the nitrous. Come on Mitchell, why aren't you using that nitrous button? That will be giving you a little bit of an extra performance down here, and we've got plenty of juice in the tank. Now we hit the nitrous button, or the overtake button. It's not nitrous because I think we're using battery energy in this particular car. So I apologise for my mistake there. So just let this run through here, running up through the gears, looking for the 50-meter board. Just going to brake just ever so slightly after that, down into third gear and then down into second gear for rotation for this one. Get on the power as quick as we can. We've gone full lean now. Sorry, full power. We're on power level 1, full power. So how quickly can we get this around this track? Of course we could well catch ourselves out now because this car is so much quicker than it was. Again, using the overtake button to get past these two cars, so overtaking two cars on the way up the hill, and they're not slow cars. Braking for this corner, second gear, just be careful of the wall. Bring it round, this is the final lap now, this is all or nothing. We're going to use the overtake button up here. No, we're not. Erring on the side of caution, getting slowed down, third gear. That was nicely done. Up into fourth gear. Beginning of the curve, down into second, getting that turned in, and now we want a overtake button all the way to the end now. We've got so much battery, we could have used so much more of the battery to speed up these laps. Like I said, I think that there is a lot of time to be found, so we didn't break the 25 minutes, and we came in at just under 26 minutes. Not the fastest race, we could definitely do a lot quicker. But that is the Aston Martin Valkyrie, that is Sardegna, that is my favourite grinding track, and that is just one awesome car. I mean, that internal view is gorgeous. If you do the follow cam, you can see the spoiler working away. It comes up and then lays flat. Just beautiful there. You can just see that spoiler working on this particular view. Just enjoy this car. It was absolutely wonderful. If you've got a cool 4 million quid kicking around, go and buy it. Treat yourself. It's amazing. It's really lovely to look at. That overtake button is just incredibly useful, and it's just an amazing car for grinding. Anyway, that is this video. I'll be back with more World Circuit races, and in fact I've got a brilliant race coming up later this afternoon. I'm going to release this video this morning, and I'm going to release the World Circuit race this afternoon. It's just an amazing race. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, you've just got to watch that. So if you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button to follow me, hit the bell notification for notifications of when that next video comes out. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, because it really helps the channel. And for everybody else, if you're a subscriber, thank you so much for continuing to support my channel. I cannot thank you enough. For now, I am going to get back to work, and I will catch you a little later. My lunch break is well and truly over. Take care. Bye bye.